And so I bought it, and that thing sucked ass. What's going on, everybody? My name is Kyle. I am a hiker, I am a thru hiker, I am a backpacker, and like most of you, or some of you, or maybe almost none of you, I like to save weight when I'm backpacking, you know? I dabble with the ultralight. Whatever that means. Dude, I feel like I just suck at starting videos lately. A lot of people on YouTube spend a lot of time making videos about how to lighten your backpacking gear load, about how to go ultralight, tips and hacks and things you can do to keep your shit light so that you don't get hurt while you're on the trail and so that you just have a better time. We're friends of ultralight on this channel. The commenters, however, may disagree, but them. However, sometimes ultralight does go a little bit too far, and so in this video, I'm gonna talk about 5 different gear mistakes that I made when I was trying to go ultralight, like things I did or didn't do to go ultralight that I ended up regretting once I actually got out onto the trail. Some of these points are things I've talked about in previous videos, some of them are new, you guys know how it goes. Let's get into number 1, but actually, subscribe. All right, let's see here. For this first gear mistake that I made in an attempt to go ultralight, we're gonna send it back, dude. We're just gonna rewind the clock. Actually, I guess it's this way. We're gonna go back to when I was 18 years old and I was attempting, well, I was successful. I was through hiking the Grafton Loop Trail in the mountains of southern Maine. Some of you might know this trail because of a video that Flossie and I did when we hiked it last year. That video was my second time doing it. On my first time, like I said, I was 18, I was by myself, and this is when I was like really getting deep into ultralight. Like my honeymoon phase with backpacking was over. I had gone through the phase of like having really shitty gear and kind of just figuring things out, and now I was starting to get some good gear. I was cutting pounds off my pack like it was nobody's business. For this trip, I had gone through a few different like water filtration or water purification methods. I had tried like the Aquamira. I had a Steri pen when I first started. That thing was a piece of garbage. And eventually I ended up getting the Sawyer squeeze filter, and it was great. But this was back in 2014. Some of you who were backpacking back then might remember Sawyer came out with this filter called the Sawyer Mini. It was basically the same concept as the Sawyer Squeeze, except it was like an ounce or two lighter. I honestly can't remember. And it was a little bit smaller too. And so to me, it seemed like everybody was switching at the time from the regular Sawyer Squeeze to the Mini. And I was like, I'm trying to go ultralight. I just got this new frameless backpack. I'm like, dude, who am I if I have the 3-ounce Sawyer instead of like the 1 or 1.5, whatever it is ounce Sawyer. And so I bought it, and that thing sucked ass. And listen, Sawyer has been a supporter of this channel in the past. I still use the regular Sawyer squeeze to this day. So like, I'm not just trying to like shit on Sawyer. Maybe they've made the Mini better now. I don't even know. Do they even make it? Yeah, they do still make it. So yeah, maybe they've made a better version of it now. So like, again, this was so many years ago. I'm trying to be nice to you, Sawyer, okay? But Sawyer, your Mini filter was absolutely terrible. In an effort to save, you know, an ounce or an ounce and a half, whatever it was, I ended up suffering every single time I tried to filter water, because after like the first few times I used this thing, that flow rate was terrible. And it seemed that like after the 2014 hiking season, everybody else came to the same conclusion. So like there was this phase where everyone was switching from the regular Sawyer to the Mini, and then everyone realized that it sucked just like I did, and they went back to the regular Sawyer, which is where I'm at today. It definitely was not worth saving like barely any weight to deal with a significantly slower flow rate. So hopefully the Mini is better now. I don't know, but I love my regular Sawyer squeeze, and I'm gonna be using it on the PCT very, very soon. So subscribe if you wanna see those PCT videos. PCP, I'm gonna be doing PCP. No, I'm not. The second gear mistake that I made in an effort to go ultralight that I regretted immediately the first time I tried to use it has to do with my charging setup. And this one's pretty recent. This was last year that I made this mistake. A few hours before I filmed this, I posted on my community tab asking you guys what some of your dumbest gear mistakes you made in an effort to go ultralight were. I'm gonna read some of those at the end of the video, so you gotta watch to the end of the video. However, I do wanna read one of them right now because somebody else, who you guys might be familiar with, by the way, made the exact mistake that I'm about to talk about and commented it. Who but Taylor, the New Hampshire hiker, said, did I say New Hampshire? I can never say that right. I'm sorry, Taylor. But Taylor said, I brought a 3-inch phone charger. Not very convenient in towns. Taylor, I did the exact same thing this past fall. This stupid ass charger right here, dude. This thing is just I bought like the smallest, lightest charger I could find on Amazon. I thought it'd be great, dude. Like, look how light and small this is. It's just a charger after all. All you have to do is plug your phone in and then you just leave it, right? What could be the problem? Well, I'll tell you what the problem was. If I was just like plugging this into my phone and then pretend this is a battery pack instead of my other phone. That's right, I got two phones. Like pretend this is the battery pack, you know, and this is the phone, that would be fine, right? But the problem is when you get to town and you want to charge your phone and you're using this stupid thing, a lot of the time the outlets that you're plugged into are like off the ground. Obviously, you guys know what an outlet is. And so what would happen is I'd plug in my phone, I'd plug it into the outlet, but then the cord was so short that like my phone would be dangling like this. Like it couldn't be rested on the ground. It's too short to like put it up on a table. It was a mess. I remember one time I was at a restaurant and like I was trying to charge my stuff while I was eating. And so like there's a little outlet in the corner of the room. It's like super packed restaurant. So like I was trying to be as like non-discreet and like not in the way as I possibly could. But like I'm over there just like trying to finagle my phone into the right position to get it to stay. I tried to like rest it on top of my power block. Whoa, it was a mess and I felt like an idiot. And then flash forward to the hotel room. It's like you've been hiking for a few days, you're in your hotel room. What do you want to do? You want to sit on that bed, you want to relax, and you want to play, I don't know, Angry Birds or some shit on your, you want to just scroll on your phone and just, you know, just relax. I couldn't do that with this stupid charger, right? So I had to choose between draining my phone battery if I wanted to use it while I was relaxing, or I had to, this is absolutely tragic, I had to watch TV instead, which sucks because they didn't have YouTube on the TV. In TV, movies, it's all garbage. YouTube is where it's at. You guys know this. It was rough, man. But yeah, anyways, f this charger. This next one is something I've talked about in a few previous videos, but I want to talk about it again because this is probably the dumbest thing I've ever done in order to go ultralight. It's so stupid. It was actually the inspiration for this video and something that's haunted me. Not that it was that big a deal, but something, that's right, it's haunted me since it happened in 2020 on the Northville Placid Trail, which is a great video. You should go watch my NPT video, link right there. Anyways, let's talk about my cell phone. This one right here, my old phone. In an effort to go ultralight, I was like, you know what? See this case on this giant case. I mean, look how, there we go. Look how big this is and how heavy this plastic case is. It's literally the smallest case. It's not like it's a huge OtterBox case or something like that. It's literally the smallest and lightest case. However, at the time, I was like, I don't want to bring this case. It's just extra weight. My phone's gonna work without it. Why would I even bring the case? Yeah, that was a dumb idea because on day 2, look what happened. Yeah, you see that right there? I got it locked in on the focus. I cracked the shit out of my phone. Folks, bring your phone case. It doesn't weigh that much. What happened is I had my cell phone plugged into headphones and it was sitting in my hip belt pocket. And because I had like corded headphones, I couldn't zip up the pocket all the way. I did something and somehow the phone fell out of my hip belt pocket because it was open a little bit. And there happened to be a giant root just sticking out of the trail, just right where I was standing. This thing fell and it cracked. The camera was okay. The only crack was right here. Obviously it kind of spread a little bit, but the front, completely fine as well. So it definitely could have been worse, but when I look back on it, it's like how much weight, like look how tiny this case is, dude. Like it's literally the smallest case ever. I couldn't be bothered. I'm an idiot. I almost broke my cell phone. Yeah, don't do that. On to mistake number 3. So this one, I'm a little bit torn about. It's not as like cut and dry as the previous examples of how it was just like really obviously a stupid gear mistake. So this one goes back to my Appalachian Trail through hike in 2018. Did you guys know I hiked the AT in 2018? I don't know if I've ever mentioned that in any videos, but I made a gear mistake, I think. See, I'm a little bit torn about this one, I'm not gonna lie. When I first started the AT, I did not bring camp shoes. This is something that I had done before on previous shorter backpacking trips. I had not brought camp shoes and I was fine. And in fact, the reason I'm torn is because since the AT, I haven't carried camp shoes on a single hike and I've been fine. Of course, I haven't done a hike as long as the AT. Not yet though, PCT coming up soon. Make sure you subscribe. We're leaving in like a month, it's gonna be sick. But in an effort to save weight on the AT, I started without camp shoes. And I hiked like a decent chunk of it without them. The weather was like pretty okay when I first started for like my first week maybe. It rained a little bit, but it wasn't while I was hiking. It was usually just at night. But then I got to the Smokies. And in the Smokies, it absolutely dumped. Almost every day I was there, my feet were soaked pretty much the entire time I was inside that national park. And every night when I got to camp, all the other hikers around me would take out their camp shoes, walk around with their dry shoes, their dry feet, letting those feet heal, and all I had to wear on my feet were my soaking wet trail runners. And of course, trail runners, they do dry out a decent amount, but they never got like completely dry just because it rained every day basically I was there. And so just like spending time at camp was kind of miserable because my feet were always wet. The only time they were dry was when I was sleeping in the shelter, obviously. I sucked it up for a little while longer after that, but more rain came north of the Smokies, and eventually when I got to Hot Springs, North Carolina, which is about 270-ish miles into the trail, at that point I sucked it up and I bought some camp shoes. I did buy like the lightest shoes I could find. They were literally like the cheapest, crappiest pair of flip-flops that I could find at like Dollar General or whatever. So it's not like I went out and bought like some super heavy like camp shoes or anything. And I ended up going through, I think, 3 pairs of cheap flip-flops like that over the course of the rest of the hike. But after I picked them up, I was always glad I had them. And going back to why I'm kind of torn about this, like I said, every hike since the AT, I haven't had camp shoes. Even on the Northville Placid Trail, which was the longest hike I've done since then, 140 miles, wet feet for a lot of it, I still never really wanted camp shoes. And when I'm thinking about my upcoming PCT through hike attempt, right now the plan is not to bring camp shoes. So this will be kind of a fun little experiment. I'm gonna start without them, and maybe I'll pick them up again like I did on the AT. Maybe not, because it won't be as wet, hopefully, because the desert and, you know, the West Coast, it'll, you know, I'm gonna be on fire. So we'll see how that goes, but you guys can make fun of me if I end up picking them up again and making the same mistake that I'm talking about in this video. That'll be funny. Let's go on to number 4. Did I say number 4? I meant number 5. So this is the last one in my list, and then I'm gonna read some of the mistakes that you guys commented on my thread on the community tab. By the way, this is just another reason to subscribe to the channel, because when I post these community tabs, when I ask for questions, when I ask for your stories and stuff for videos, you guys can comment them. You'll see it if you're subscribed, so you got to do that, and I will maybe read your comment, although it's very unlikely because you're probably not that interesting. The 5th gear mistake that I've made in an effort to go ultralight. That was disgusting. Can I leave that in? I don't know. I'm gonna do it. Maybe. Sorry, Mom. She doesn't care. The 5th ultralight gear mistake that I made in an effort to go ultralight and instantly regretted is actually related to this channel, related to filming these videos. So this one's a little bit different. I know. I'm sorry. If you don't have a YouTube channel, you might not care about this, but hear me out, okay? This is actually gonna go back to the Grafton Loop Trail. This is gonna be about the 2nd time that I did it, the time where I have a video, link right here. Flossie and I hiked the Grafton Loop Trail in May of 2021, and we got rained on. I regret not bringing my GoPro to film. I had my regular camera, obviously. I also had my cell phone. Actually, it was this cell phone at the time, the broken one. I also knew that we were most likely gonna get rained on this trip. I looked at the weather. Like, you should always do that. And when I was packing up the day before we left, I was like thinking about it. I had like the GoPro, where is it? I was like, oh my God, should I bring this shit? Like, I know it's gonna rain, but like it weighs, I don't even know, like not very much, but I was like, yeah, it. As soon as it started to rain on that hike, I regretted it. Because I am not rich, I can't risk getting my big fancy giant penis YouTuber camera wet. So when it rains, you know, I pack that thing in my backpack. I put it away, I seal it up, it's nice and safe. But then if I want to keep filming, which I do, I love to film for you guys. I love making these videos, and the story of a hike gets interesting when the weather gets bad. When my camera's in my pack, I can't film it. So it's like, what do I do? In this particular circumstance, I filmed a little bit on my cell phone. The quality isn't as good, but like I would have been able to film way more and way more easily, and also not risk breaking my cell phone, because this thing was absolutely soaked. I'm really lucky it didn't break. And on every hike since then, where I've seen rain in the forecast, I've brought the GoPro. It's turned out great. I used it on the Cranberry Lake hike, used it on a few other ones. It's worked out great. Okay, so back to the community tab. Here's what I wrote. I said, what are some of the dumbest gear mistakes that you've made in an effort to go ultralight? Ed McCarthy said, I tried using a bivvy in place of my tent to save weight. Too claustrophobic and doesn't handle condensation well. Yeah, that one sounds rough. I've never used a bivvy before. I'm not even gonna pretend I really know anything about them, but tents exist for a reason. Ben Hiking Outdoors said, went ultralight one time and didn't bring any bourbon. I survived, but never again. But isn't bourbon like kind of ultralight? Like if we're talking about the weight of alcohol and bringing it backpacking, bourbon is definitely more bang for your buck than cans of beer. Something to think about. Cappy Dusty said, cold soaking / going stoveless. That's a big one. I've never tried this. I never will, because I know that I would instantly regret. If I didn't bring my stove, oh man, I gotta have a hot meal. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how lightweight you are. I do not care. I need my stove, bitches. Foggy Shan said, didn't take any insulation layers on a mountain day hike in the rain and couldn't stop moving, else I would get too cold. Make sure you guys bring enough clothing, please. We don't need any hypothermic subscribers to the Kyle Hates Hiking YouTube channel, because then you'll die. And that means I won't have you as a subscriber anymore. Come on, we can't have that. Bring your clothes. J3 Hike said, Nylofoam ground sheet, enough said. Which makes me nervous because I have a Nylofoam ground sheet that I haven't used yet. So hopefully that doesn't get f***ed. We'll see. And then Michael Gardenier said, Gardenier? I don't know, dude. I'm sorry, Michael. I love you. Without a doubt, the inflatable hospital pillow, worst idea ever. Yeah, you want to like save some weight, because pillows, a lot of people don't even bring pillows actually, but if you need a pillow, I prefer a pillow personally, and just an inflatable one, a better one than a hospital one, that's for sure. It's like you got to get good sleep out there. So if you're bringing gear that's hurting your sleep, you're gonna suffer. Probably worth sucking it up for a few extra ounces to improve your sleep, guys. Flossie and I are leaving for the PCT so soon. It's coming up just a few weeks, really. I'm nervous, dude. I'm nervous, but it's gonna be sick. We're gonna be posting videos while we're out there. We're gonna be doing lots of content. We're gonna be capturing the entire hike. If you want to support the content on this channel before we leave and while we're actually out there, please go to patreon.com/KyleHatesHiking. You'll get a little bit of bonus content. You'll get some feedback on video ideas and thumbnails and titles and this stuff, and it will make a huge difference. It's already making a huge difference, honestly, given that I hired an editor basically with the Patreon money. So if you like what myself and Flossie are doing on this channel, please go to patreon.com/KyleHatesHiking. Please, 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 link in the description. I love you guys. I love Ultralight. Even though it sucks sometimes because I f***ed up my phone because of Ultralight. Yeah, I hate Ultralight.